Action for Housing says it's unstinting in the struggle to help tenants who experience housing problems, but stressed it does so within the remit of the law. The group adds it's unacceptable for the landlord in this incident to have taken the law into his own hands.
What a landlord cannot do is employ the services of a bully boy to go there and evict someone without a court order, which I think they're going to do now, actually. We've received a letter from the landlord's lawyer telling us that they will now proceed along the legal route and evict these tenants.
Action for Housing highlights the legal route landlords should follow if they wish to evict a tenant for non-payment of rent, adding it is then up to the courts to decide what action should follow. The group has met with the RGP to express its concerns.
We've spoken to the Commissioner of Police, and he does admit that there was an error in the protocol, that they should have ensured that the landlord had a court order, and they didn't. So now the Commissioner is giving very strict orders to ensure that this does not happen again, and that any eviction is done through the courts with a court order.
In this instance, a vulnerable family was involved. What if it's a case of squatters where people don't want to pay their rent? Does the landlord have any other rights?
No, the same would apply. He or she would have to go and seek a court order, and then evict the squatters. I mean, nobody should be above the law. We know that it might be cumbersome for the landlord to have to go through the court procedure, but that is the only way that a tenant can be evicted. I mean, you've got to give some justice to the whole thing, both sides, obviously. We do understand that a landlord who needs to recover his property because the tenants are not paying their rent for whatever reason, and in this case it is a tragic sort of situation where the tenants were unable to pay their rent, and as I've said, the landlord or landlords have the right to evict a tenant, but always through the courts.
Is there anything more the government can be doing?
Not really. The only thing that we can do is to ensure that nobody becomes homeless through no fault of theirs. Then we must ensure that those tenants, if they haven't paid their rent, are given a roof over their heads. And this particular case, I think, is one of those.
Action for Housing says it will continue to remain vigilant to ensure this type of incident doesn't happen again, adding next time it will name and shame not only the landlord but also the security firm employed to carry out what it calls illegal or uncivil action to evict or harass tenants.